Hi, I'm Kristen.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
We're readers and writers.
We're sci-fi and fantasy fans, and this is
The best of all worlds. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today, we're going to play a fun game here. If you've been around BookTube or the book community, you've probably seen this before. It's called the one-star review game, where we're going to read to each other some funny one-star reviews of our favorite books and react in real time to how completely devastating they probably are. But in good fun. It's usually a good time, even though it hurts just a little bit. So
people just really say their opinions online with no filter. It's amazing. It's amazing. I wish I could be so bold.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, as an author, I can only give something 1-star review if it offended me as a human being in some way.
Exactly.
Usually I'll give it a 3 stars if I'm this was decently written, but not for me.
Right. And it's okay for something to not be you. And one thing that I found while looking through all the reviews is there's a lot of people that gave it a 1 and were like, it's not for me. Okay, well then why are you reviewing it?
Yeah, but at least for our entertainment, we can say, because some of the scrolling through these reviews, it was pretty funny. It was funny because I was reading through the reviews of 3 books that Michelle picked out that I am not particularly attached to. Right. And so I could have a better time and not be offended the whole time. And I'm sure it's probably kind of similar the other way around.
Yeah, so. And I think we might feel some feelings hearing some of these reviews.
This is fine.
But some of them are just so funny. How do people even come up with these things?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
So we set kind of a strategy when we were picking out our books to look up 1-star reviews. So these are all books that either of us had rated 5 stars. We both picked a fantasy book, a sci-fi book, and a classic to have a little bit of variety. So we'll go through each of those categories one by one, showing both of our books and sharing the 1-star reviews. As I mentioned before, we have not heard these 1-star reviews yet, so you're going to get our honest thoughts on how totally wrong these 1-star reviews are, and how dare you.
I am excited for that. If you've read any of these books, please share your opinions here, because I'm curious what you have to say about these 1 stars, but I am beyond excited to read some of these to you.
Yes. So I guess that pretty much sums it up. So let's dive right on in. Starting out with fantasy books. You want to go first, Michelle?
Sure. So the fantasy book that you gave to me to look up is Blood Over Brighthaven, which you've been raving about. Yes. And some of these comments were wild. Many of them I could not pull, but there's a few that I thought were fantastic. So this first one is it's a little lengthy, and it starts off super strong. So we're just diving full on in to a very intense one. These were in no particular order. I just started picking a bunch of 1 stars that I thought were funny. So this is a 1 star posted September 11th of last year. This book didn't just waste 430 pages of my life, it robbed me of brain cells I will never recover. If suffering had a physical form, it would look exactly like Blood Over Brighthaven. Siona, I'm guessing, is the main character. Peak insufferable. Every time she opens her mouth, I want to throw my Kindle across the room. Tommy, bless him, he's tragic, but he's also about as thrilling as staring at a damp wall. Together, they're like watching beige paint dry with somebody whispering themes in your ear for 4 hours.
Oh, no.
The pacing, imagine being trapped in a never-ending PowerPoint presentation about magic politics, except the professor hates you and the projector keeps glitching. That's this book, Dark Academia. Please, it's not dark, it's pitch black boredom. By page 200, I was bargaining with higher powers to make it stop. And by page 300, I was hate reading out of spite. By page 430, I was a shell of a human questioning every choice that led me here. If a Dementor wrote a novel, this would be it.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like that's so beautifully written.
That is like a beautiful roast that I completely disagree with, but I respect the craft.
There's so much craft in this response. None of them are going to be this peak, so maybe I started off too strong. But this one just made me stop and stare.
Oh my goodness. But honestly, though, what book were they reading? Because that book was like so interesting all the way through. Clearly, they don't like politics, right. So that's probably part of the reason they didn't like this book. So that's fair. There is a lot of magical politics going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I will agree that Siona is not necessarily the most likable protagonist, but that's what I liked about her. She's interesting.
I mean, I like unlikable protagonists, so that actually makes it more of a selling point for me.
She was likable. I don't know. She was relatable to me as like a intelligent woman trying to prove herself and like really, really driven towards a goal and like really interested in something that's like technical. You know, for her it's magic, for me it's writing. Right. And then feeling like being on a little different wavelength than everybody else around you. Like, I get that. I related to that pretty hard. I didn't relate as much to her inability to see other people's points of view. That was like, okay, you need to learn. But it wasn't like in a bad way. It was like, okay, this character is flawed. She can't see past her own point of view. She needs to open up and learn and grow. That was good, and that's exactly what she did during the story, and that's really what the story was about. Seeing beyond your current like worldview and realizing, you know, maybe things are not that great and maybe we need to change things.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's like one of my tropes that we mentioned, the are we the baddies trope? So clearly that's something I like.
This next one's short but sweet, and I thought you would get a kick out of it. This was Timu FMA.
Oh my goodness.
I'm curious, like, can you see the FMA connection? Because when I saw that, I was like, this is perfect. I have to know.
Yeah. For anyone who's unaware of the acronym FMA being Full Metal Alchemist.
All right.
Yeah, I can see that. It's got a lot of similar themes to it. It both is less dark and more dark.
Interesting.
Like, I'd say the scale of the darkness is smaller, but the darkness is like real bad. So I don't know. It's I definitely see the similarities though. And that's probably why I liked it so much, because I love Full Metal Alchemist. So like, yeah, okay. I take that as a compliment, honestly.
I do too, honestly. All right. Okay, so they're calling it Dollar Store FMA. I kind of want to spite read it just to see if that's true and actually find enjoyment from it.
The only reason it's Dollar Store is because it doesn't have pictures.
They skimped on the artist. Wow. All right. Let's read the last one, and then I'm excited to read what people have to say about my book. I feel like I'm cursed. I must be cursed. I wanted to like this as much as everyone else seems to. I wanted to like it so much that as soon as the audiobook wasn't meshing with me, I placed it on hold for the ebook and waited for that to come in, because surely I was going to love this book. Spoiler alert, if given the ultimatum of reading that book again or eating rusty nails, I'm taking my chances with the nails.
Wow. Okay. Listen. I just want to put in a pitch for the audiobook. I listened to that book on audiobook and it was super good. The audiobook worked perfectly for me. Like, I think it was so well done. So like, I am going to defend the audiobook here. excellent audiobook. Would actually recommend it on audiobook because I had a good time. So there.
I just love 5 stars and 1 star, so you can have such a different opinion of the exact same story. It's amazing.
It's like, oh man, eating nails. Meanwhile, I'm like, I just want everyone to read this book so I can talk about it because I have so many thoughts. It was so thought-provoking.
Right. This has not deterred me at all. Yes. This whole process of looking through the reviews, they all basically said the same thing. They were like, this character is insufferable, blah, 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 blah. Like, they just didn't like the character mostly, or they didn't like the themes, or they found the themes too on the nose or something. Yeah. That was pretty much the consistent feedback for the 1 stars.
Here's my hot take. Blood Over Brighthaven is the superior version of Babel. There, I said it.
You know, I feel like that's in the comments, and I deleted one where somebody compared it to Babel, and they were mad about that comparison. Oh, but anyway. Jinx.
All right, now we'll move on. So Michelle picked Jade City, first book of the Greenbone saga, and this is a book that I have also read. And I personally didn't love. It was not a 1 star for me. But I kind of agree a little bit with some of these reviews. Not as vehemently, but like there was a little bit of catharsis in reading the 1 star reviews because this is a very popular book. I love that. And I felt left behind. Like, why am I only met about this? Diving into the 1 star reviews, this first one says, DNF, I am so mad. Like, mad. Clenched jaw, clenched fist type of mad. This book has disappointed me so greatly, like a child disappointing their mom.
Wow.
So much potential that I was loving, and then boom, ruined by a tragedy on a character I loved. I literally got nauseous because of it.
Oh, wow.
Crying face, puking face. I couldn't continue. I have checked out.
Aww.
I knew immediately which character they were talking about. I'm like, yep. I can see.
But see, I love a major character death. Like, come on, that's what makes it so good.
Yeah, actually, that was not a problem I had with this book. So that was not among my list of reasons that I rank it lower than other people, but that was kind of a funny.
That is a very funny
reaction.
Take. Especially with that being like the inciting incident, which basically caused all of the political problems for the rest of the story, was that character's death. So, I mean, you're supposed to feel that way. So I feel like the author was successful if you had that kind of reaction to that character dying. But maybe that's me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of your, like, cue if you're not a reader who enjoys that kind of shocking murder, then you probably aren't going to want to be in for the rest of the series.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's only going to get worse. There's only more characters that will die.
This is fine.
It's a mafia story. Like, people are going to die.
Yeah.
Watch The Godfather. Anyway.
So the next review, I am going to read the first paragraph, and actually I don't even think it's the last paragraph. This was a very long review, and I'm like, I'm just going to pull out 2 sentences that kind of summarize the point, and I'm going to have to try and censor a bit of the language because this review got pretty spicy. This person really hated this book. I mean, really hated it.
That's scary. I'm nervous.
So brace yourselves. All right. What a huge effing disappointment. Oh, no. I'm shocked and honestly disgusted this was written by a woman. If you asked me, based on the story and the rampant and unquestioned misogynist undertones, I would have bet money this was written by a man. I have absolutely nothing but criticism for this book. The plot is effing boring, not sorry to say it, and there's very little action, and what action there is was just men fighting. Boring. Seen it before. why even effing write the book if you're not going to challenge and critically deconstruct how unhelpful literally every man in this book is? I hated this so much.
Dang. I feel like I heavily disagree just with Shay being like one of the main characters who is like stronger than average, and she's one of the most important characters, but that's a take. That is a take.
Okay, I guess I gotta read part of the middle of this review because it says the lack of strong female characters in this book is unacceptable.
Oh my God.
The women in this book are Shay, who has all my least favorite tropes. Parentheses, she runs away for a man. Yeah, effing right, okay. And Wen, who is never mentioned without being explicitly sexualized.
Is
the
she?
women in this book only serve to forward the men's agenda.
I don't know that I agree with that, but I have the full context of all three books, right? So, like, I'm trying to remember just what happened in book one. Because that's kind of a theme, is the women showing that they are the ones that are, I mean, they're equally as valuable as the men. Like, that's kind of like one of the core themes throughout the series. So it's very interesting.
I feel like that must come out in the later books because I kind of agree with this. Like, I liked Shay as a character, actually. She was probably my favorite character. I thought she was interesting, but I really wish there were more women other than just her.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I feel like it was intentionally a patriarchal mafia because most mafias are. And so for Shay to come up and become something powerful in such a setting is kind of like proof that like even a woman can do it kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, I can see that if you're only looking at the first one and you are taking that interpretation from it. I don't know. I did not get that at all. So
I mean, that definitely was not a main interpretation that I had, but I don't know. Maybe that's my problem with mafia stories is they're always extremely male centered, and I don't love that.
They are. They really are. I mean, it's like a dominance thing, right? Like mafias like, coerce people into becoming loyal to them by forcing them to pay them or face the consequence of fear and like pain. And then they'll like be diehard for you so long as you continue to pay up. But as soon as you stop paying up, then they will lose all loyalty to you. It's like a very masculine concept to be in a mafia. So I feel like that setting allows for a very interesting theme to develop over the series. But I guess in the first book, I mean, it's only just starting, so...
Yeah, and I do need to pick up the second book, and maybe my thoughts on the first book would change after seeing the full arc of the characters. But I tend to agree with the third review we have here, which is short and sweet and can't honestly fault it. It is, this book is dull and boring. I said what I said.
That
it was like, wow,
that's
short to the point.
I can't disagree more, but I like those more slow-paced political character-driven stories, so
I think what made it like I also enjoy slow-paced long political books, but I have to care about the characters, and there was nothing that made me care about these characters except like a little bit about Shay.
That is fair.
But the other character, maybe that's something to be said for not liking the men in this book, because I didn't like any of the men in this book, or at least I didn't care enough about them. I'm like, you're just making dumb decisions, and I can't get invested in you because I know that I can't get invested in someone who is making terrible choices because they are going to regret it.
Yeah, Hilo is kind of insufferable in the first book, and he was one of those characters that I love to hate, but he has some character arc that happens, and I am satisfied with how his character arc goes, but I will leave it at that. I will agree he's very insufferable in the first book. Very insufferable. But enough torture for me. Now to torture you.
Oh no, because now we're moving on to classics.
Oh, and this is actually this was hard for me to get through these reviews because I fundamentally disagree. But I think there is a recurring theme that will be picked up. But without further ado.
This is the Count of Monte Cristo, by the way.
Oh, yes. Oh, shoot. Yes. This is the classic Count of Monte Cristo, if you weren't picking that up. I don't want to insult Mr. Dumas, and I know this book is sort of considered a classic, but honestly, to me, it just comes off as a semi-sophisticated version of a pit bull fighting ring. I guess dress it up with human level intelligence, and that makes it okay somehow.
I mean, I guess it's true in terms of, like, pitting humans against each other, but
there's a lot of fencing.
There is fencing. There's definitely fencing. There's dueling. Right. There's money being changed hands. Yeah, there's a lot of drama, but it's all, like, just so intricately plotted. Like, to compare it to a pit bull fighting ring, it's like, oh my gosh, that is the grossest oversimplification.
Honestly, at least this person seems like they understood it. A lot of the reviews, it did not seem like they understood the book at all. But
it's not even that complicated for a classic, honestly.
It isn't. But this next review...
I mean, not complicated in terms of thematically what it's trying to do. It's complicated in terms of the scheming that's going on. I will give it that.
Exactly. It's a very political book. It's all about manipulating people. And yeah, one of the themes I saw in the feedback was people being mad about the different points of view after, about like a third into the book. It starts splitting off into multiple points of view, which is important in order to understand like the picture of what's happening. But this next review just made me cry with laughter when I saw it.
Oh no.
It's caps locked, by the way, so...
Oh no.
They were feeling feelings. This book is so bad I want to feed it to my dog, make my dog throw it up, and put the puke on the author, and then it is at least 100 emojis of the puke emoji.
Oh no. Wow, that is like a personal insult. This guy's trying to start a duel.
I know, quite fitting actually, given the context.
I know, right?
But that just made me cry. I mean, it's not even saying anything about the book, but the reaction.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay, you didn't like the book. We got it.
Just the number of puke emojis just made me stop and just laugh. Oh. And the next one is short but sweet. And I feel like this could be applied to many books, so I kind of respect it. There's many things I disliked about this. That's all.
That's all.
That's all. Nothing.
The funny thing is that I do have criticisms of the Count of Monte Cristo, despite like absolutely loving it, and none of my actual legitimate criticisms were brought up in this review.
No, most of the reviews were DNF, which of course makes sense. It's long and it's written in old language, so it's hard to get through. If you struggle with classics in general, it's gonna be hard. But they all called it boring.
Boring. Okay, listen. This is actually one of my legitimate criticisms. The section that takes place in Italy, it's not that much of a spoiler. There's a section that takes place in Italy. I did not like that section.
Fair.
At all. Fair. There's a really, really uncomfortable story that gets told about a bandit that made me go, And also the main character of that section, his name's Franz. He's insufferably boring. I could not stand him.
Yeah.
But once you get past that section, it gets much more interesting, and the rest of the book is fantastic. So just get past the Italy section. I promise you, it's worth it. It gets better. And the Italy section is relevant. It didn't need to be there, but it is relevant.
Yeah, long story short, this is a really good book, and I feel like a lot of the 1-star reviews were for people who were reading it for school, and some people were saying they were reading it as early as middle school. I don't know that I would consider this a book that a middle schooler can fully understand what's going on because of how political it is. So I found that interesting how many of them were young reading it. I was impressed they were trying.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think a high schooler could enjoy
Yeah,
this
for sure.
and
That's
like
when I read
maybe
it.
like a smart middle schooler could also
Yeah.
enjoy it. But you have to be ready and prepared for this to be a very dense, very
Right.
complicated, very chunky book.
Yeah, takes a long time to read. One person said it took them 1 year and 7 months to read it.
Wow.
Which I can understand. It is long, so I get it.
But the story is like honestly more interesting than a lot of modern books.
It is.
Yeah, there's a reason it's a classic, is because it's just so dang entertaining. And I was honestly, other than the Italy section, which I will forever have beef with, all the other random side tangents that I thought were random side tangents all ended up being important in the end. And that was, as an author, I respect the heck out of that. I'm like, that's well done.
Exactly.
Now on to Michelle's classic, which is Pride and Prejudice.
Yes, a special place in my heart. I'm imagining people are so brutal about this one. I'm nervous.
Oh, there were some pretty funny comments about this, which is, it's interesting because I've read about half of Pride and Prejudice and then I lost my audiobook loan and never picked it back up. But I've seen the whole BBC show multiple times.
That's a good one. That's a good version of it.
I am very familiar with the story and enjoy the story. So these are kind of fun to read. The first one is, "What's that? Mr. Darcy doesn't want to dance at the dance. Welcome to almost any 8th grade dance. You'll find most of the boys playing basketball in the gym while the girls are waiting in the cafeteria for someone with whom to dance." That's the review. It's 1 star.
That is a fair take. It's a very different culture, so I mean, it's fine. That is fair to say. I wonder if they got past that scene, which is very early on.
But I was just amused. What's that? Mr. Darcy doesn't want to dance at the dance?
A petulant little child.
Yeah. It's like, listen, I know plenty of people who don't want to dance at dances, so Mr. Darcy is not alone. It's okay.
He's not.
Okay, so the next one is an essay, so hold on, because this is going to take me a bit to read. "This book has been billed as one of the greatest love stories in all of literature. I have no idea why. When the story begins, Elizabeth Bennet is a smart, independent, and not overly concerned with bagging a husband, which, by the standards of Victorian England, makes her a feminist trailblazer.
It does.
Then she meets Mr. Darcy, who acts like an insufferable prick. This is in a society obsessed with grace and good manners. And Elizabeth has the good sense to identify Mr. Darcy as the insufferable prick he is. And so she spends the first part of the book rightly loathing this asshole. Fast forward, by chance, Elizabeth finds herself touring Darcy's palatial estate, meeting his hundreds of servants, using his solid gold bidet, and suddenly she starts thinking that maybe Mr. Darcy isn't such an asshole after all. The moral of the story seems to be that enough money can make even the most abrasive and obnoxious jerk seem like Prince Charming. And that's really frustrating when you realize that it's 200 years later, and while the world has changed immensely, the people are still the same. Go society! So if you want to read a real love story, read Anna Karenina. If you want to read the biggest piece of anti-feminist drivel in the literary canon, then by all means, read Pride and Prejudice.
Well, that's the first time I felt like the take, I can see where they're coming from. I can. But I also feel like that means they don't understand Darcy. But that's fine. You know what? That's fine. They don't understand him. Maybe I'm personally attached because like that's the type of person, not the rich aspect, but just like the personality aspect is like what I find most intriguing in people. So for me, I feel very personally attached and I relate a lot to Lizzie as a character. I feel like to have that take means that you don't understand Darcy at all. Personally.
Yeah, that's pretty true. It was very funny.
That's hilarious.
I have to share this one. But I'm like, yeah, I do disagree with this because, yeah, I think the point is that it's literally called Pride and Prejudice. Is like, Darcy has to get over his pride. He has a character arc. He grows. He becomes a better person. And, Lizzie has to get over her prejudice. And she grows and becomes a better person, and they do it together, and it's, you know,
Yeah, it's
it's like,
wholesome and lovely.
yeah, that's what makes the story good. And I feel like, yeah, just narrowing it down to being about feminism or anti-feminism is like, that wasn't really the point. It was about these two individual people and their personal character flaws and how they overcame them.
Exactly. Which is what Jane Austen does best. But, you know, if it's fine. I'm not mad. I'm okay.
But that was a very well-written roast.
It was.
So I appreciate it.
I can respect it. I can absolutely respect it. And if you get that take from that, all the more power to you. I'm sure you'll find someone who is exactly nothing like Darcy.
Oh, and then the last one here is, it doesn't really say a lot, but I just thought it was funny. Part of my New Year's resolution is to write reviews and be honest. And to be honest, I hate this book no matter what age I am that I try to revisit it.
I love that. I love that.
Dang.
I appreciate the attempts. I do. I appreciate the attempts to give it another go. That is... I appreciate the dedication, which is probably why I liked that one review where they're like, you know, I tried so hard to like it, I even got it on ebook. Like, I appreciate the dedication to see something all the way through before you make an opinion about it. So I appreciate that.
How do I? It's like, okay, it is fun to revisit a book you hated and be like, do I really still hate this? And it's kind of validating to come back and be like, yep, I really do still hate this. Okay.
Yeah. And that's fine. Not everything is made for you, and that's totally fine. I'm sure there's romance stories out there that you enjoy way more. Awesome. Well, I guess it's a good time to go ahead and segue into our sci-fi section. And for Kristen's sci-fi selection, she has chosen Skyward by Brandon Sanderson.
Oh, this one's gonna hurt because I love this series.
I DNF'd this after like the first chapter because I just wasn't jiving with the main character. Maybe I got a couple chapters in, but I just wasn't super jiving with it. And a lot of the reviews were like that, but some of these reviews were pretty funny, including this one. Unbelievable to me that this book was written by Sanderson or that it received any type of nomination. It's written so incredibly dumbed down. It was like it was written for toddlers. I haven't read a book with this much repetitive dialogue since Green Eggs and Ham.
This is funny. Oh.
I swear, some people are going for comedy for these.
I mean, yeah, if you're gonna write a 1-star review, might as well make it funny.
And I appreciate that. I do. All right, this next one's a little longer.
Okay.
But I thought it was pretty funny. So, wow. I'm honestly very surprised that I fell into the minority on this book. Aliens and a baddie protagonist, sign me up. Instead, what I got was a slow-paced story in the point of view of a literal psychopath and strange moments that seemed like the author was trying to appeal to younger readers and failing miserably. There were moments when Spencer would threaten someone so vividly that I'm surprised she wasn't considered absolutely mental. No wonder everyone avoided her. It wasn't because her father, it was because she was legit terrifying. And some parts, like her nickname of, quote, jerk face, like, really? My 3-year-old cousin could come up with something more mature and less cringy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, fair. I get it if people don't like Spencer's like voice and her like inner monologue of like always just being extra aggressive. It's part of her character. Like, it's, you know, a lot of it's just like a facade that she puts on, you know, out of defense. So it's like it makes sense in character that she is the way she is. However, I do get that could be obnoxious if that's not something you jive with. I personally, listen, I've written a character who has a very similar vibe to Spencer. Only difference is he's a guy, and I feel like if Spencer was a guy, people would have less issues with this. It's like, women are allowed to be angry and aggressive too, okay? Like, that is, listen, let people be who they are.
I love it.
I enjoyed Spence's voice. I just enjoy a protagonist who's ready to fight everyone at all hours. Like, you know, to call back to Full Metal Alchemist, I mean, that's what Edward Elric is. He will fight anyone.
Literally.
Like, he is constantly getting angry at people. Again, I feel like it's people have the issue with Spencer being like that because she's a girl. I'm like, listen, girls don't all have to be feminine.
Exactly.
Girls also don't all have to be aggressive masculine either.
Exactly.
Girls can be anything. Okay?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
It's just a gender. We all have brains and we all use those brains. And that means there's going to be a variety in responses of how we handle our situations.
Exactly. Everybody's brain is a little different.
Exactly.
That's okay.
Exactly. Oh, but those are mine. Those are mine.
All right. Then we're moving on to our last review of the day, or our last 3 reviews of the day. And that is for Annihilation.
And I love Annihilation. Like, it's one of my favorite books. I think I listed it in one of our other episodes as, like, one of my favorite examples of an unreliable narrator. So...
Yeah. And I have not read Annihilation, but I have seen the movie, so I have no idea how close the movie is to the book. It was a good movie, but it was not my vibe, and so I haven't picked up the book because I feel like the book would not be my vibe either.
It's like psychological horror, pretty much.
Yeah. So, anyway, but based on seeing the movie, these reviews seemed pretty much on point. The first review, short, simple. What the F was that?
Now, see, that's a valid response because stuff gets very weird in this book. Like, it gets super weird. I mean, that's kind of the point. It's kind of like these characters are tripping. So that is a very valid response because I don't even think any of us are supposed to fully understand what was happening in this book.
Yeah. That's exactly why I haven't picked this book up, because I know I do not like trippy things where I don't understand what's real and what's not. That is not for me.
That's like the whole concept is like your ability to discern real from not real starts blurring and it becomes more and more difficult because that's like the effect that this area has on people. So yeah, I mean, that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, that literally sounds like my worst nightmare, and I don't want to read about it.
Exactly, that's what makes it so good. It's so creepy.
No.
She says no.
No. All right, next one. Oh dear. Basically, an unknown authority in an unknown time at an unknown place gets a group of unnamed people to explore an unknown region for an unknown purpose. The writing style is pretentious and the story is threadbare. Very little happens, and what little does, well, quite frankly, I was way beyond caring at that point. The only redeeming merit of this book is the last page, because at least when you reach it, you know it's finally over. A complete waste of time.
Okay, that's beautiful, though. That's a good roast. That's a good roast.
It was
I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, that is all true. That is all true. That's the point, but that is all true. I can't be mad at that. I actually can respect that. If that's not for you, this book is not for you.
Yeah. That's not for me.
Yeah, the second book gets even crazier into, like, the government side of things, and it's just more of that. I mean, the whole series is just more of that. I don't know, I disagree about the pretentious writing, but, I mean, that's kind of like, you know, people's personal perspectives, because some people call the one with the 2 letters back and forth, I can see the cover.
Oh, This Is How You Lose the Time
People
War?
call that one pretentious, so, I mean, people will call anything that's written more than just, like, Sanderson level pretentious, so...
Yeah. I mean, I feel like pretentious is kind of a strong label to throw out.
It is.
Like, unless you're telling a really horrible story using really flowery, elaborate language, it's probably not pretentious. It's just a writing style choice. But yeah, if you're telling a bad story and making it flowery, then I'd call that pretentious.
See, and I guess that's kind of up to perspective, right? Because I thought it was a really good book, but some people, I mean, obviously,
that's true.
don't agree.
That's fair.
But
That hurts my soul a little bit, though, because I love that book. But anyway, we're not talking about that one. On to our very last review.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this one's kind of a shorter version of the previous review. I feel like I was missing a really vital chapter of this book. The one that explained why I should care and what the hell was going on. Very disappointing.
I mean, that's also fair, because one of like the purposes of the book is to be disorienting. Like, that's a feeling that this author creates very effectively, is to create this feeling of disorientation. It is disorienting, so I mean, they're not wrong. I can't be mad. Oh, these are hard. These are hard to listen to a little bit.
Yeah, they were definitely, it was like, oh no. But also it was a lot of fun putting this together. I had a good time.
Yeah, would 100% do this again, because this is just so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got plenty more 5-star books we haven't used yet. So we can definitely go through another round of this. So if you have any books you've heard us talk about, you're like, I want to hear 1-star reviews for that. If you're like, please do 1-star reviews for Return of the King.
Oh my
God.
I
die on the inside, but that's fine. That's fine. It's okay.
That one I think will take us both out. We'll be out of operation for a while after that. But hey, to each their own opinions, and that's the point of this, right? Like, you know, something that you love can be hated by somebody, and that is okay, even though it hurts a little bit. Or a lot of it.
Maybe don't go like sharing the 1-star reviews directly to the authors, though. That's not cool.
Yeah,
don't do that.
You know, people are people, and I don't know about you, but I don't like being told I suck. That hurts. That hurts. Doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
You can think that, sure, like, okay, you're not gonna win everybody over, but like, don't tell it to my face, please.
Thank you.
Oh, but I had a good time with this. Yeah, I could 1000% do it again.
Yes. So hopefully you all enjoyed this as well. If you did, be sure to like and leave a comment and tell us we should do more of them, because if you liked it, we absolutely will.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. So like, subscribe, do all the things, but otherwise have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day.